meteoric and almost unfaltering, hasn't it? Because in 1980, he was the Australian 125cc junior champion. He went senior the next year and immediately became, in the same class, senior champion. Then he went up a class in 82, became the 500 champion.
Youngest guy ever to do so, Will, at the age of 17.
Hard man. And then the next year over to New Zealand and took their 500 championship. So you were seeing him in those days in among his dust, and you must recognise great talent.
Yes, those days he was very, very fast, a freckle-faced kid, and didn't look like he could ride the bike very fast, but when he got on the machine, extremely fast.
Was he cocky, confident?
No, he's a very, very quiet, determined guy. He's a great guy, very determined, tunnel vision, always wanting to do motocross. That's what he excels in.
And then 84, 85, Mr. Motocross, which of course neither funked unhappily, but this year, but a very prestigious title in Australia.
The most prestigious title in Australia to have the Mr. Motocross series, and unfortunately this year it's not on due to some problems with the promotion. But next year, series organiser Vince Teixeira has promised it back to the circuit, which will be extremely good for Australian motocross. You see here, Leisk, he's substantiating a very good lead. Billy Lyle's there trying very hard, and they're pushing very hard. But here's Gorse, he's coming up, he's pushing himself forward. Joe Bass trimming the boards a little bit, really trying hard. You can see the bikes weaving around a lot of the deep sand on the finish. Oscar Santa circle.
Then 86 off to the States for Leisk, and looking now, it was a pretty smart move because motocross, supercross, also the indoor version of it, is really very strong there. The quality of riding among the Americans is very high, isn't it?
Oh, very high. The supercross scene in America is the toughest in the world, and it just goes to show the Americans have really learned from the supercross because they've won the Motocross of Nations, which is the World Teams Motocross Championships now 7 years in a row. A really fine effort. And last year at the French Motocross of Nations event, they won again, of course, with France second, Finland third, and good old Aussies there in fourth place.
And ahead of some countries that we would expect to go well, Britain, for instance, was ninth, and they're very strong with people like Thorpe and Nicol.
That's right. It was a very, very good effort by the Australians, and it really shone to the fact that Leisk won. Actually, he was second in two of the races behind the American rider, and it really showed his performance, and that's really what substantiated his support this year in Europe.
And before the World Championship started this year, where Honda was planning just to give him parts but not a works engine, suddenly he did so well they decided they'd better give him more power.
That's right. He has now nearly a full factory machine. I think the only thing that's not factory is the frame of the motorcycle. Wheels, suspension, motor is all factory equipped, and very, very good equipment it is.
And yet still a very modest effort, just with his long-time mechanic with him.
Peter Leiskowski, his mechanic, he's been there for many, many years, followed him to America, helped him, supported him, been behind him the whole way. A great guy, Peter Leiskowski, name put on it.
Looking there at Billy Lill again, number 8. Yellow flag up, somebody's down.
Gabors is still pushing hard. He's closing the gap, and Leisk has got that lead substantiated at the moment. You can see there's a big gap behind him. He's flowing very well on the bike, keeping himself forward, gas on around that sandy turn, changing his line slightly. There's something you've got to also realise, that the track changes consistently, not like a road racing Grand Prix where the circuit remains the same the whole way. But here the track changes all the time, and the riders have to constantly use the circuit to find different lines. Leif Pearson.
Yep.
Trying very hard there in third place, being pressured by Eric Gors.
And indeed trying to catch Lill on 8.
Pearson last year was actually on factory Yamaha, but Yamaha dropped their factory effort. They had alloy frame 500cc machines. They dropped their factory effort. This year Pearson's on a 500cc Honda.
Plenty of enthusiasm from the crowd there. You can see them urging people on this great battle. Look at it.
Tightening right up now. Gabors is in there behind Pearson. He's pushing very hard. It's a very tough area of the track. A lot of deep ruts there in the sandy conditions, and made it very, very hard for Pearson. His legs were coming off the foot pegs.
So it's Lill on 8 there, Pearson on 17, and then in behind Gabors on 1, the reigning champion, out after them and wanting them.
Gabors as well, I think that's Kurt Nicol there in the Kawasaki, just going over across the dump right now.
Nicol, number 2 from Great Britain, third in the championship. At the start of this round, 91 points, 29 behind the joint leaders Thorpe and Gabors. Now Gabors gone slightly ahead.
Leisk still in total control there, riding very fluently. You can see turns the bike over this jump, getting down on the ground. It's very, very in control, accelerating with a lot of confidence down that straightaway. Moving his weight forward for the corner, balancing his central weight for the corner, getting down on power very, very quickly.
Braking on a motocross bike wouldn't be the hard one, it'd be more sort of gliding it down to a speed than jumping on them like you do in road racing.
That's right, it's a lot of flow. The circuit, the nature of this particular circuit tends to slow the bikes. The sand really slows the bikes up, so braking is not extremely important here. It's your flow, your throttle control, your balance on the machine to keep that flow going around the track.
How high would you get off the ground at the maximum, and how far would you jump, Stephen, on a really long jump?
On a long jump with motocross, you can jump up to 100 feet. And its height maybe 15 to 20 feet, depends. In supercross they jump much higher, but outdoors like this they would maybe only get maximum 10 feet off the ground, and very small jumps really. As you can see, Leisk there getting his weight forward, getting the bike arced over the top of the jump very quickly so he can get the power to the ground very quickly.
The bulls.
You can see all the ruts forming in that jump there due to the soft conditions. Joe Bay going over the jump there, Nickel, and I think that was Vermont on the left-hand side. Those ruts form from the bikes constantly hitting the same line over and over again. It's very, very difficult for the bikes there because they must align themselves with those ruts, otherwise they get crossed up in the air.
And obviously big boots and going up much higher than road racing boots. What other sort of clothing and protection?
Well, leading up from the boots, knee is an area that has to be protected very well. A lot of the riders nowadays wear knee braces, which are made of carbon fibre and titanium, very light, very well equipped to support the knee, because in sandy conditions like this they put their leg out for a bit of confidence, a bit of support in some sections.
Oh, yeah.
Very easy to twist those knee ligaments.
Well, I mean, that's how Gardner broke his leg. It was catching it on a curving. I mean, you've got surely the same sort of potential here, except what you'd catch it on would be softer.
That's right, the foot digs into the ground, and with the boots now, the boots that are very, very strong, a lot of support around the ankle area. When the boot catches the ground, the ankle doesn't twist, it's the knee that twists. And in Australian motocross, the biggest injury that's put racers like myself out of racing has been knee tears or knee ligament problems. Myself, it's anterior cruciate ligaments, and it's a real problem. You can see Leisk in that corner, something interesting. He's changed his line, he's squaring the corner off now, flowing underneath the very whooped out bumps and making himself drive harder down the straightaway.
So, let's come up past the knee then. What else?
Well, the nylons is a flame-proof protective nylon, very light, very cool, allow the air to flow through over these long 40 minutes plus 2-lap races. Jerseys are all a cotton type of jersey. Usually most riders have plastic protection around the shoulders.
On to 8, Belittle.
Gabors is pushing very hard. You can see he's very determined. His fitness is coming through. We're getting into the moto a fair bit now, and he's pushing hard and getting past Billy there with a very determined ride. You can see he's stretching that lead out very quickly. Lyles, on the other hand, will look at him and say, oh, there's last year's world champion. We'll probably psych him out a little bit, so he'll tend to settle in, maybe and say third is better than second. Here we go. Here's Gabors. Weight sanded over the bike, trying to get himself to flow over those bumps. You can see he's very smooth, pushing very hard, trying to catch the flying Leisk.
Yeah, I was going to say, a bit keen not to let Jeffrey get away.
That's right. You can see he's coming in a bit tighter now. He's pushing very hard. You can see Leisk's helmet there is a BFE helmet. It's made of Kevlar and fiberglass. It's a mixture, both lightweight and a lot of protection from a helmet like that. Helmets like the Arai, the Bell, the BFE are designed very lightly so that the air can flow through them to keep the riders cool. You can see now Gabors has pushed very hard. He's catching up to Leisk. Leisk may be waning a little bit with his fitness. He might be getting a little bit tired. Maybe also seeing that Gabors is coming, Peter Laskowski in the pit will be telling him, and he's trying hard, maybe trying too hard in some areas, so sort of starting to, as we call it, flap on the bike a little bit. And Gabors is smooth, pushing hard, and can see Leisk is flapping a little bit, pushing very hard, and actually closing the gap very quickly.
Jeffrey Leisk at the latter part of his second moto, 5th round of the World Championship, the race leader at this stage. Being chased though, pursued and hounded by, in very close company as you can see, by Eric Gabors.
Gabors' pit will be telling him where Thorpe is.
Oh, and look at Leisk going there. The bike kicking and dancing everywhere as he knows the pressure's on.
And he'll be pushing very hard, Gabors, because he knows Thorpe is back. This is his chance to get a lead, another 3 points in front of Thorpe.